Okay, so we'll be looking at the topic external influences on business activity.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about external influences on business activity, we are talking about the outside factors that might affect your business.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
these factors we are going to be looking at can be environment, can be political, can be the laws of the country in which you are operating your businesses. So these are the major
Okay.
factors we'll be looking at. Political
Yeah.
environment, legal environment, okay,
Okay.
and the environmental factor as a whole. These are the external influences on the activities of your business that might determine the growth or the downfall of a particular business in which you are running. Okay, so we'll just go straight to the point. So we said all business operate within an external environment, and this will
Yeah, it's
influence
true.
their activities and what their decision. So the environment in which you are operating your business will affect the activities of that business, and will also affect the decisions in which you will take for your business to be successful. Okay, so like I said earlier, the external environment we'll be looking at are what? Laws, which are the legal environment. Okay,
Yeah.
then we
Okay.
have political factors, the politics that is at play in that society. Then the social factors and the economic conditions, also the level of technology. These are other extra factors you should put into consideration. Then
Okay.
competitors, your rivals in the
Yeah.
business world, so will affect your business activities. Then your
Yeah.
suppliers, they are the guys that give you the required supplies you need for your business to grow. So they will also determine either you make profit or you make loss in the business. Okay,
Okay.
so you also have the international trade links you need if you want to go global in your business. Okay, internationalized business needs links. So you don't just want to be operating within the local hem of affairs. So you need to expand your business. So in the case of expansion, you will need links. This is what we call the trade links. And this will also affect your business. And also environmental pressures. So these are pressures coming within from everywhere. It can be outside, it can be within the business. So this can also affect the performance of your business. So these are the business environment we are going to be looking at in this topic. So laws,
All right.
political factors, social factors, economic conditions, the level of technology, competitors, suppliers, international trade links, and environmental pressures. So
Pressures.
let's take note. These are, so it's not something that is so difficult for you to understand. So there are
Yeah, it's
things
not so difficult.
there's things we see every day on daily basis. Okay, so most especially people that have businesses. So these are things that affect their businesses. So the first one we'll be looking at is the political and legal influences.
Influences. Okay.
Okay, that is the politics at play in the business environment. Okay, that is within the country, or if you are in international business, the country in which your business is located. So what is the politics affecting the business? And what is the law? The legal influences has to do with the law regulating businesses. Like, for example, in the UAE, we have sets of laws. Okay,
Yeah, we are.
yeah, we have set of laws for businesses to function or to operate. You have to be licensed. There are so many regulations you have to follow before you can establish a business in this country. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
true.
these are the legal influences we are looking at. So this influence on political, we have privatization.
Yes.
Okay? So what comes to your mind when we talk about privatization?
Privatization is a transfer ownership of state-owned industries in the private sector.
Okay. So when we talk about privatization, these are government-owned industry. The government can no longer manage the companies or the industries they are running. So what they do, they look for private individuals that have the money, that have the capacity to be able to operate and manage these businesses effectively. So they sell off government properties to private individuals. Okay, so we call that privatization. So that
Miss,
is
can
the
you explain it
process.
again? Can you explain it
Okay,
again? I didn't understand.
okay. I said privatization has to do with when government, okay, they own businesses. We have government-owned businesses, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, like for example, most governments of countries provide water,
Mm.
transportation system, electricity, right?
Yes.
To the citizens. Okay. Like in my country, for example, we have the power holding company. This was formerly owned by the government. The government uh, was the one running the affairs of supplying electricity. Okay,
Yeah.
so but it got to a point the government could no longer deliver services. The essence of business government companies is to deliver services to the citizens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, government does not have interest in making profit. Okay, so
Mm.
when it got to the point the government could no longer manage the power sector of the country,
Oh, okay.
so what they
Okay.
did, they had to look for private individuals that have money.
Mm.
Okay, so they sold out these companies to private individuals so that they can be able to deliver the services effectively.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you get it? So this is
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
call privatization. Okay, for example, maybe the UAE government might decide to want to give out their transport system to a private company to manage for them. Okay,
Yeah.
so that process is called privatization. Okay,
Yes.
just like we have the Emirates airline, they may want to give it out to a private individual or set of private companies to help them
Mm.
manage the Emirates airline. That is what
Yeah. Uh,
privatization.
okay.
Did you get that? Okay. So
Yeah.
it's just like transfer of ownership of government or state-owned companies to private sectors.
Okay.
Are we good on that?
Okay. So basically, like government-owned industries
Yeah,
be be converted to private sector. That's it.
exactly. Thank you. Mhm.
Okay. All
So
right.
the
Yeah.
government
Yeah.
owned companies are converted to private sectors. Okay. So when they convert them to private sectors, they're not create what we call the public limited companies.
Mm.
Okay, PLC. So they will now become public limited what companies
Yeah.
because
Yeah. All right.
companies have been converted to what private sectors.
Private sectors.
Okay, good. So these guys, how do they operate? You might have done okay, you've not done business in air, so you might have public limited companies. What they do, they sell shares. Okay,
Yeah.
because they have people coming in to buy shares from the companies. So they are
Yes.
shareholders. Okay.
Yeah.
So they
Shareholders.
have shareholders. Okay, good. So they now sell their shares through stock exchange. So that is why in most countries of the world we have stock exchange. Okay. So
Yes.
the stock exchange are these guys that sell the stocks of the
Okay.
public limited companies.
Mm.
Okay. So we can see the list. They've given us list of privatized companies in Europe. So we have the British Airways. Okay, the British
Yes.
Airways formerly was owned by the government of Europe. Okay, there they
Yeah.
decided to privatize it. So it's no longer a government-owned property. So it has become a private company.
Yes. Become
Okay,
private company.
I
Yeah.
know you have so many in Pakistan and India too. Okay, so we also have the
Mm.
other companies that you can think of. They are all privatized already. So this is privatization that we are looking
Yeah.
at. Okay? So when we look at
Yeah.
the privatization, it's very complex stuff because back home we are suffering from the issue of privatization. Okay, Because when a company becomes privatized from government always offers their services at very cheap and affordable rates, right?
Yeah,
Like
very.
for example, now the Dubai transport system, for every stop you can pay 4 dirhams, 3 dirhams. But once this company becomes privatized, the
Mm.
private company will not want to charge the same 4 or 3 dirhams, right?
Yeah, they're gonna make their own prices because they're now
Yeah,
private sector.
good, because their aim is just to make profits.
Yeah,
The mindset of a private guy is to make what? Profit. Okay. So these
profit.
are problems. Okay. Now, mostly the government will consider and will not want to what? Sell out government owned companies to what? Private individuals. Because at the end of it all, they will make life so difficult for the
Mm.
citizens. Okay. And
Yeah.
people will no longer be able to what? Afford those basic amenities the government wants to what? Offer the citizens.
Mm.
I hope you're okay with that. So there's no need for you cramming or memorizing anything. So you just have
Learn
to
the
have this.
advantages.
Yeah, you just have to have this in mind. So these are business problems we are encountering. So we are going to be looking at the argument for privatization. Argument for what? Privatization. Okay. So in argument for privatization, it just means the advantages. What are the advantages? Okay.
Okay.
For what? The government selling their companies to what? Private individuals. Without looking at your slide, what do you think will be one of the advantage or one of the reason government will want to sell their companies to what? Private individuals?
So the company's main goal could become earning more profit rather than providing services to the public. That's
Okay.
one. And it also can count as a disadvantage because the public would have problems with it because the prices would increase.
Okay, thank you. So I think the major objective of the government selling off their
Yeah,
company private is because they can no longer manage their companies. Okay. So
yeah,
it gets
okay.
right. The government could no longer manage whatever is coming in. There's
Yeah.
corruption. There are so many things happening in those companies. So the government
Mm.
will what? Will want to sell off, and maybe the
Oh,
government will
okay.
not manage the companies effectively. They are spending more money in these
Yeah,
companies, in these businesses, and they are not realizing profit, right? So they
yeah,
look
yeah.
for private individuals that could what? Could carry on from where they have failed. Okay, so
Mm.
that is what we have
Okay.
arguments for privatization. These are the advantages we are looking at. So the first one we are looking at says the private sector business will lead to what? Greater efficiency, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm. So they will be more effective than a government-owned industry because the private gives all it has because
yes.
its focus is what? Profit making. So the private is
Mm.
going to put every resource, everything possible to make sure he makes profit. Okay, so that means the business of the private guy will become what? Very efficient, very
Yeah,
very efficient. When the British Airways was with the government, was owned by the government, the efficiency of the British Airways was very very poor. Believe it.
yeah,
So now they have sold it off to the private sector. British Airways is making a name for itself, okay?
yeah, it
Because the
is.
sector is what? Is putting everything possible to see
Yeah,
that their business does not fall. They need money. They need to make
they need
profit
money.
from it. Good. Because the government does
Yeah.
not care whether he makes money or not. Okay, he's not interested about profit. So he doesn't give
Mm.
all he has to what? To see that this business is thriving. Okay, so these are
Mm.
the advantages of what? Privatization. I said it needs to work greater what? Efficiency. Private
Yeah,
companies
efficiency.
are more efficient than what?
Yeah,
State-owned enterprise. Are we
yeah,
together? Okay,
yeah,
number
yeah,
two,
yes.
decision making in privatization is very fast,
Mm.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's true. Decision
unlike in
making would be much faster.
good, unlike in state bodies where they have to
Yeah,
meet maybe with the minister in charge of this, from minister in charge of this, they have to pass a bill, they have to everybody have to second the bill. Are you for it? Yes or no? Okay. So decision making in government-owned enterprise is very cumbersome. Okay, it's very slow. It's very bureaucratic. When we talk of bureaucratic in business, we are talking about the bottlenecks and all these laws, whatever you have to pass through to get to make decisions. Okay, so the decision making is a very tedious decision making process in privatization. Any question?
Okay.
Okay, so the
No, no,
first
no,
one
miss.
we saw that private business will bring about what? Greater efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and decision making is very fast in
Yes.
privatization. Okay, in state bodies, it's slow and bureaucratic, very
Yeah.
slow in government enterprise. Then, thirdly,
Yeah.
we are looking at privatization. Privatization will give responsibility for what? Sources to managers and what? Employees.
Oh, yeah,
So
increasing more
every
motivation.
exactly motivation. There's business motivation. So it's opening room for them to what? To grow. Okay, but in the government owned this thing, there's the manager and the employees. They are not interested in the growth of the business. All they want is at the end of the month, the government will pay them their salary. Okay,
Yeah.
whether you work, you don't work, at the end of the month you must receive salary. Okay, so that is the mindset the managers and employees work. So all they are concerned about in government owned industry is how to loot the government. They are not thinking of how to add value to the business. Then when it becomes a privatized company, they will give all it takes. So they are
Yeah.
responsible for the success of the company. So that means they are motivated to contribute all their effort, all their resources into what?
Yeah.
Seeing the success of the business. Clear?
Yeah. Clear.
I can move on, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fourth point, we said the market forces operate, then the failing business will be faced to change or die. Okay.
Die.
This yeah. So when the market force operates, so the failing business will be what? Will force to change or it will die, right? So the successful
Yes.
ones expand. So but the profits of most of the privatized business have increased following their what? Sell-off, right? Like
Yeah.
all the businesses of the government that were sold to private company turn around everything and the profit has what? Increased. Okay, so that is the argument for privatization. It brings about more profit for the government owned industries.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so the next point says important business decisions are taken for financial reasons, not for what? Political reasons, because the
Yeah.
private company is only out for profit, money. Okay, so whatever these business decisions you are taking is for money. It's not either for political reasons. Most government-owned
Yeah.
companies, if they want to give contract out, they look for the person that maybe when they are coming out for next election, the person will vote for them, isn't it? So
Yeah. Yeah.
so they are looking for, that is the political mindset. Okay, so they look for somebody that will support their next election bid. So that is why they give contracts to people they know. Like my country, they say is whom you know. That if you don't know anybody, don't go for any government contract. They wouldn't give to you. Okay, so this is the
Yeah. Yeah.
political
You need
reasons.
to have
Okay,
contact. You need to have contact.
okay, so that is that. Okay, but when these companies become for private companies, any decision is just for how the private will make profit. The private is not interested in any political reason. They don't know any political godfather. They don't know any political godson. So they move
Yeah.
ahead to make what? Financial decisions. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so give us example here. Keeping electricity prices artificially what? Low. Okay, and that
Love.
is for government
An advantage.
yeah, that is government owned companies. Okay, they want to keep electricity prices what? Low. Why?
Yeah.
Because they are looking for what? Political mindset, so that in the next election they will come out and say, yeah, I was able to keep the prices of electricity low, so that is the reason why you should vote for me. Or I was able to
Yeah.
make school fees for free, Students are not paying
Yeah.
school fees, so vote for me, right? So that is a political
Yeah.
mindset, okay, which you will not find with private. No private will offer free education
Mm.
because they are not coming out for any election. So they will charge you school fees and you have to pay. So
Yeah, I have to
this
pay.
an advantage of privatization. Okay, so selling of nationalized industry can also raise finance for the government. So when they sell government or state-owned companies, it can bring in what? Money, can generate money, can generate what?
For the government.
Revenue. Yeah, for the government. Okay. So and the government can what? Can convert this money if they don't embezzle it. They can convert the
Mm.
money to other uses for other sectors. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an advantage. Then the private business will also have access to what? Private capital markets, which will lead to what? Increased investment in their
Yeah.
industry. Okay, so this is Farah, I don't want you to look at the screen. I want you to just give me 3 advantages of privatization or 3 arguments for
Okay. All right. So three advantages of privatization would be that the 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 private sector businesses would be more efficient rather than
good,
being as a government controlled business, and
good.
decision making would be much faster rather than being in a controlled environment in the government.
Okay,
And the
okay.
third thing would be that uh, the third thing would be what I think is I think the only two like I find it easy to remember.
Yeah, okay. Hello?
So what I think is for the third advantage, like you can sell off other properties that is government owned to just raise finance for the government.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's this
those are
three
the
three advantages are enough, or should I do
yeah, they
more?
need to know 4. So you need to know
Okay.
3 or 4 is okay. 3 or 4 are
All right.
maximum. Okay.
All
So
right.
but
Cool.
you have to build on your point when writing why
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
necessary. Okay. So now we move
Yeah.
on to arguments against privatization. Why should government not sell their businesses to private companies? Without looking at the slide, why do you think the government have made mention of that? Why do you think the government should not sell their companies to private owned uh, individuals or sectors?
Because there's a risk that the companies would fail if they give it to a guy who knows how to do business. There's a risk that the company would fail that is owned by the government. That's one of
Okay,
them. And the
okay.
second
So like,
thing is,
So listen,
and
Farhan,
this, yes, hello.
okay, if the private sector knows how to do the business, what you
yeah,
Okay,
said, okay,
okay.
and the
yeah.
government would hand it over to the private sector, so the business would fail. How?
No, like but there's still a risk, right? There is still a risk.
No, there is a risk, but the reason that you gave, does that justify?
Not really, but like I'm trying to make a
Invalid
point.
reasons.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a point. There is still a risk that you're giving out your own company to someone. You're putting your trust to him because there's a chance the company can fail. So I
Really?
think that's a disadvantage. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't,
But they are going to give everything away, right? Then they won't have any
yeah,
stake. Then
that's
all the
also a point.
profits and losses would be with the company that is taking over.
Yeah, that's also a point. Miss
Okay,
Mercy
give us a
explained.
give
Explain.
us a valid
Explain.
point. Why do you think the
Yeah.
government should? I want a point from your end. Why do you think the government should not sell their properties to state-owned individuals or state-owned private-owned individuals? Why do you think? For example, why
I,
should you think the Dubai government, if they want to sell the transport system to private
yeah,
individuals, why do you think they should not do that?
they should not. So they can have control over that part.
Okay, you want them to have control over that part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you are saying they should be able to make decisions with regard to
Yeah,
the transport
decisions.
system.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
decisions.
that, that's good. I think I mentioned, I was expecting you to remember that I said they will make services unaffordable for the
Yeah,
citizens.
unaffordable
Yeah,
service.
so
Yeah,
because it's going to be very expensive, the private will always increase the prices of these services. Okay,
yeah,
because the private does not care about the citizens. They don't care about the welfare. All they care
yeah.
about
They don't
is
care.
their pockets.
Yes, greedy.
They just want to make greed. Yeah, they just want to make
Okay.
profit. So they don't care about you. Okay, so they don't have you
Mm,
in mind. They just want to provide services and get their money. So
yeah.
that
Okay.
is the fear of what privatization, and that is why when you see government wants to privatize companies, there are so many bottlenecks, so many laws, so many people coming in and say no, 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 because of this
Yeah.
particular reasons. Okay, so let's look at the points we have here. So we said the state should take decisions about what essential industries. So this is
Yeah.
one
Okay.
argument against private, like you said, okay, so that the government will still be in charge. They will be
Mm,
in control of certain industries, especially those ones that provide the basic needs of the societies, right?
yeah. Okay.
Like, for example,
Miss,
the
can
water.
you unzoom it? I can't see.
I should, okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zoom out, zoom out. Yeah, there you.
it's okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay. So I said the state should be able what the government should also be able to what take decisions regarding
Yeah.
what essential sectors, light,
Okay.
water, transport. Okay, because
Transports,
this is
electricity.
electricity. These are the basic needs of human right. So
Yeah.
if the government gives it out to private individuals, they'll make it so
Mm,
expensive. Okay, which we don't want. Okay, so
yeah.
this is the argument against privatization. So government should be able to take what their own decisions. They should make decisions about these
Yeah.
essential sectors.
Yes.
Are we good?
Yeah, yeah, we're good. I
Okay.
understand.
So I say I'm not just the interest of what shareholders. So that is one reason government should not privatize their companies. Okay. Then
Okay.
the second point, privately operated business that compete with each other are unlikely to achieve a coherent and coordinated policy for the
Mm,
benefit of the whole country. Okay. So what this point is trying to say, there are private companies that after acquiring government-owned properties, what do? Competition.
yeah.
Okay. The essence of whatever they are acquiring is they want to compete with another company. Okay.
Yeah.
That is their interest. Not that because they
Mm,
want to offer services or they want to do anything. It's just primarily a competition. For example, we have the railway system, electricity grid, and board services. Just like I'm saying, I said the power company in my country was what sold off by the government. Okay. So what do we have
yeah.
now? We have different private individuals that bought the shareholders. They bought
Mm,
different units. Okay. They
yeah.
bought
Okay.
different units of this electricity grid. Okay.
Mm,
So whatever is happening now is just a pure competition.
yeah. All right.
So competing, this one, Mr. A is competing with Mr. B, Mr. B is competing with Mr. C. Okay. So but the
Yeah.
essence is not providing the required services that we are looking out for. So at the end of it, the aim of the government to supply or to meet the needs of individuals or the society is not met.
Okay.
Are we together? I hope you
Yeah.
understand that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood. Understood.
Okay. We said the
So there's
privately.
so Miss, basically there's not gonna be that much competition, basically.
Exact. There'll be competition with them. That's what we are saying. They are
Yeah.
competing with each other.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay, okay. More
They,
competition, basically. Yeah.
yeah, the private guys that buys the company or the shareholders, like we call them, they are
Mm,
competing with what each other. So they will not be able to
each other.
achieve aims and objectives of the
Yeah.
business. Are we together? Like you
Yeah.
have you open the maybe for example you open a school, you have the aim, this is the reason why I'm establishing this school. You have a
Yeah.
niche, uh-huh. So you want to make a SLS student and the rest of them. But maybe you could no longer take care of the responsibility, the finances and everything. You decide to what? Sell the school to different guys.
Yeah.
Okay? You're selling it off to
Understood.
different guys. Okay? So these different guys coming in, you have your own business objective, you have your
Yeah.
mission, right? You have your goals. But when they come in,
Yes.
everybody's coming with their mindset. Mr. A comes, maybe my mindset is to make money. Mr. B comes, he has his own goal and objective. So at the end of it, your own goal and objective for the business that you have set from the beginning will not be achieved. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Because we are all competing with each other. Okay?
Understood.
I
Too
have
much
this
competition.
too much competition, and that means it will take us nowhere.
Yeah,
So
that
we'll
will
lose
take us nowhere.
focus. Did you get that part? So
Yeah,
they will
I
get
got
to
the
what?
part.
They'll lose their what? Their focus on whatever
Their
they need to do.
focus. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, give me one argument against privatization.
Okay, so one like my own argument or like from the list?
From the first, I've given you two. So
Yeah, yeah,
explain
yeah.
one.
Okay, so the first argument, like which you recently explained, that since there's more competition, the main goals and the main objectives would go astray from the company since they're just focusing on competition.
Okay. Okay, so I
And
will
the
say that.
second
Okay, the second.
and the second one is that the state will take decisions about essential industries. Like for example, the electricity, the main needs of the public. The
Okay.
government will take that and
Okay.
take it as decisions. And the
You're saying
prices,
the government should. The government what should. Okay, that is the
yeah, should.
responsibility. Okay, so that is why they should not sell it off because they have
Yeah,
to be in charge of all
yes,
the
in
sectors.
charge.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Okay, so we said through state ownership, an industry can be made accountable to the country.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, and this is by what means of what responsible minister and direct accountability to what parliament.
Parliament.
Okay,
Yeah.
but when individuals own companies, do they account to the
Mm.
government? No.
No,
Do they account to the government? No,
no.
because they are there. They falsify. The businesses are owned by this private guy, so they don't account anything they are doing to the government. Okay,
Mm.
so
Okay.
it is my business. It is not the business of the government. So whatever comes
Yeah.
in belongs to me. Then when businesses are owned by the government, every business activity, every account of that business is reported back to what? To the government. That is if you have a working
Okay.
country. If you have a working country, okay, like Dubai is a working
Mm.
country, okay. We have some working countries over the world, okay. So these countries, whatever state-owned businesses they have, they account it back to the government through what? The ministers. We have ministers in charge of every affairs. Ministers in
Yeah.
charge of electricity, in charge of transport, in charge of agriculture, in charge of water, and all of this. These are ministers in charge. So every state-owned businesses report back to their ministers, and the ministers will
Okay.
what? Report back to the what? To the parliament. So they are held accountable for whatever is happening in the government businesses. But for
Yeah.
private guy, I am a shareholder. You're a shareholder. Who are we accounting to? Are we going back to the government? No.
No.
Did you get that? So that is one disadvantages of privatization. So because
Mm.
the state-owned report back, they have the head above them. Okay, so they go back and report to their head, which is the minister in charge of that department.
Okay.
Is the point clear?
Yeah, yeah, point clear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's move to the next point. So many strategic industries could be operated as what? Private monopolies if privatized. And they could exploit what? Consumers with what? High prices. We have said
Mm.
this countless time, okay? So they'll become what? Private monopolies. Once you privatize the government businesses, This becomes private monopolies. These guys are in charge, so they give outrageous prices. Okay, if
Okay.
electricity tariff was maybe 5 dirhams per unit, now this guys comes in and say, oh, we have hired so many staffs, we need to pay our staff. Then they increase the
Yeah.
tariff from 5 dirhams maybe to 15 dirhams, and this
Yeah.
becomes unaffordable for you and me.
Unaffordable. So basically just increasing prices.
Yeah, increase in prices. So they become private monopolies. Get that? Okay. So privatization can bring about what? Private what? Monopoly. Okay. And they could exploit consumers with high prices. Okay.
Okay.
That is the main point there. So they become private monopolies and exploitation of consumers begin.
Okay.
Will be good.
Yeah, we're good.
So the last point on that is breaking up nationalized industries into several competing units to reduce the opportunities for what? Cost saving.
Cost saving.
Do what?
Okay.
Economies of what? Scale.
Scale.
You know what economies of scale is?
Yeah, like different economies. Like I kind of forgot, but I kind of know what it is.
You know, I'm giving you that as assignment. Go and read up on economies of scale. Okay?
All right.
So we have
Okay.
economies of scale and diseconomies of scale. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll ask
Okay.
you for what you have read on that and you explain. Okay? So when would they break up nationalized industries into several units? It will reduce opportunities for what? Cost saving. Economies
Savings.
of
Yeah.
scale. I will not tell you what it is. So read through that. So you come back and tell me what it is. Okay?
All right. Okay.
So these are arguments for privatization and arguments against what? Privatization. Any
Yeah.
question on that?
No.
Okay, skip that. Just flip up. I'm going to ask you questions now. So what is
Okay.
privatization?
So privatization is basically turning government-owned businesses into private sectors.
Good. Give you 3 arguments for privatization and 3 arguments against privatization.
Okay, so the first three arguments would be that the advantages of privatization would be that the decision-making process would be much faster
Okay.
rather than being controlled by the government, and the okay, wait, miss, let me think.
Don't
First
flip
one,
through.
yeah. And then the second advantage would be the advantages of privatization was hold on, wait, I'm trying to remember it. Hold on, let me think. Wait. So, Miss does
You just mentioned one. Decision making is faster. What
yeah.
else?
Okay, so three. The first one was correct, Miss, right?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. And the second one would be that so for privatization, it would give responsibilities to the employees and the owner, which will increase
Yes.
motivation.
Okay, we got that. Okay, motivation for employees.
Uh,
Then next.
and the next one would be that oh yeah, I remember now. It would be like when the privatized company which would increase fail can finance the government.
Okay, thank you. Then what are the arguments against?
Okay, the argument against is that the government would take decisions this time rather than the private sector.
Okay. Secondly,
Yeah, and second one would be that since there's more competitions, the main goals would have gone astray, and the
okay,
main focus would be on the competition.
okay. Then the last point. Good.
And the last point would be, and the last one would be about this, like the prices would increase
Okay, so
due
they'll
to,
have private monopolies. Okay,
yeah, private
that
monopolies, that's the word. They would
that
have
will
private
increase,
monopolies,
that will increase the what? The prices.
the prices,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go through this case study. Are you with the open your listen to the party's activity 6.1?
Okay, from Dot Education.
Oh, you don't have it here. Activity 6.1. I want us to go through that case study.
Miss, like which topic is this?
Business
Six?
activity. Influence of
Business and
influences on business activity.
business activity. It's not here. It's not in. Okay. The government of Pakistan plans to privatize PSM. This business operates one of Pakistan's largest industrial complexes and employs around 15,000 workers. It is making heavy losses despite government subsidies. A steel industry consultant has claimed that to be internationally competitive, PSM should be producing its annual output of steel with just 9,000 workers. The government hopes that privatization will encourage private sector capital to be invested in the business. Without efficiency improvements, PSM will continue to lose sale to cheaper Chinese steel imports. Okay, so workers' representatives are opposed to privatization as they fear job losses. They support government ownership but with further injections of capital to aid modernization. Recommend to the Pakistan government whether PSM should be privatized. Justify your recommendation. Okay,
So
so should I answer the
yeah,
question?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so basically that the case study says that like PSM is going through a loss due to many workers, right?
Yeah.
So recommend Pakistan should be privatized. So okay, so the advantage of PSM when it becomes privatized would be that they would they would have they would be in command to take more decisions. Like not the government. The government wouldn't be in control. They would be in control to take more decisions, which can which can help PSM. And Miss, how many marks is the question?
There was no marks anyway. This should be like 6 marks question.
Okay,
Six or
six marker.
nine,
All
nine
right,
marks.
six marker. All right, okay, okay.
Okay, so
The
give him some
second,
time to write. I'll pause the video and then let him think, go back to the answers, write and make a note of it. Okay.
Okay.